Hey guys, welcome to Get Into It with Jason Hook, with me, your host, Jason Hook. And let's get into it, episode 51. What we're listening to is Nervous Impulse. This is a self-titled LP these guys put out in 2012, I believe, on Bridge 9. We'll insert here too. The insert here. Got lyrics on the other side. I know this ended up in a bunch of those grab bags that people did. People got from Bridge 9. I did not get this in the grab bag. Pat from Ground Zero Salem got it. Talked about it. I've seen this around. I saw it for cheap. I bought it at Armageddon up in Cambridge. But again, this came out in 2012. I believe this has members of Striking Distance and HR Band, Washington D.C. You know, royalty. And what we get here is, if you can, as you can hear, Dead Kennedys, John Joseph, HR kind of inflection singing over hardcore music. 80s tinge. Not, I wouldn't go way back early 80s, but very political, very social hardcore that I dig. I know some people might not dig the vocal delivery. I mean, then just deal with it. But the message is here. This is great stuff. I'm glad I picked it up. Just another random buy. These are very, I'm sure, readily available. So go order them from Bridge 9 or look in a record store or trade with a friend. And like I said, I know a bunch of them ended up in those grab bags. And I think people thought they were going to get 20 test presses and were bummed when they got something like this. So they dropped them off in the used store. So you probably find this easily now. But that's Nervous Impulse, self-titled. Now, something completely different than Nervous Impulse. Here we have the Jocko Expression LP. Is it Expressions? No, Expression. This band is from Omaha. This came out in 2019 on Dog Years Records. Is it Dog? Dog Years, not Dog's Years. Dog Years Records. And what we have here is on orange vinyl. I'll show it. It's one-sided with an etching. It seems to be all the rave these days. All the rage. So I'll got orange vinyl, got a center label. Etching is not going to show up. But it just says Expression is hardcore, and it's, I don't know if I'm able to get it for you. Not really see it. Very rarely, maybe a little bit. And it just spins around, says Expression is hardcore. So like I said, these guys are out of Omaha. I saw them play at the Dorchester Art Project probably a month, maybe over a month now. And they're really good, really tight live. What you get here is a little bit of, like, I would say a hip-hop influenced hardcore. There's definitely a hip-hop cadence. There's a little bit of sampling in a couple songs, and there's a little bit of like tape manipulation in a couple songs. Almost like Rage Against the Machine with the rap parts, but minus Rage Against the Machine with like the kind of rap over the heavier riff parts. But it's weird though, because then these guys tend to turn a little bit more into a hardcore ear than Rage did, where there's definitely some blast beats and like almost kind of like a power violence-y angle on a couple songs where there is, like, you know, a singer or yell, but most of it's just like kind of like a hip-hop cadence with vocally. I just don't want to, it's not bad. I know some people hear like rap metal and they're going to be like, oh, rap hardcore, and be like, boo. This is great stuff. Awesome live band. This record's out, readily available. Definitely check it out. I believe it's on every format. It's tape, CD, everything. I grabbed this record. This isn't listed on Discogs yet. There were Expressions releases, but this copy of the vinyl isn't. So I might take a photo of this and upload it onto there if I have time later today. There's the back. But this is great shit. Definitely check it out. That's Jocko Expression. Next, we're going to take a hard turn here away from hardcore and get into a little bit of metal, but with a hardcore tinge, of course. What we have here is a WitchTrial self-titled LP. It's almost like I would say it's well, it's 6 songs, 7 songs if you count the intro, so it's almost an EP. But it's on Beach Impediment Records. Another Washington, D.C. product we have here. With the insert here. We have lyrics on this side. And then it's just black vinyl. I'm not sure if there's a color vinyl on this. I just have the regular black. We all know what black vinyl looks like. I'll show you the labels there. Got the black A side, silver B side. So this is definitely, I would say, a thrashy hardcore influenced metal. The best, just to shoot fish in a barrel and throw pretty much the most open-ended comparison out there is, I would say, early Slayer all day long here. Not full-on metal, not full-on crazy riffs. It's got that punk drive to it, but definitely faster, thrashier than, you know, your average punk band. There are some like you know, riffs and leads, but it's definitely got, like, you know, Discharge Slayer-y vibe to it, and that would make sense because this is a band made up of members of a lot of well-known or semi-well-known, if you're into it, hardcore bands from the DC area. Did I write any other notes on about this? No. Fast, thrashy punk metal for fans of early Slayer. Members of several hardcore bands, but done right. I write notes like a 10-year-old. But definitely check this out if you dig, like, you know, early Slayer. I would even say DRI, not full on DRI, thrash crossover DRI, even, you know, just punk metal. Or even metal or punk, or you're just looking for something that mashes the both and you haven't found anything. WitchTrial. This is what you guys want to hear. They also have a demo LP out as well, which is readily available. I believe this is still readily available. Definitely check it out. But that's WitchTrial, self-titled. And the A side of this record's already over, but what we're going to do is, I'm going to talk about the next record and then flip it, because I forgot how short this LP is. Next, again, on another, you know, same vibe, but different, you know, same tree, different branch. Here I have the Neanderthal, A History of Violence, pretty much discography, Neanderthal discography. Neanderthal are a power violence band from California, made up of members of Infest, is it Man is a Bastard? Crossed Out, Man is a Bastard, just power violence royalty here. So what you got the songs. It's only 7 songs, 5 songs from an EP, 1 song from a comp track, and I believe 1 song from a split 7-inch. So you got. I just want to make sure I'm right here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 songs. I'm sorry. So 6, 1, and 1. Just power violence. If you dig power violence, if you dig the fast, about to fly off the rails, angry fucking hardcore from California, you'll dig Neanderthal. I'm sure everyone's heard Neanderthal, heard of them. If you're in deep, if you're just getting involved or you're just trying to check out different stuff, this is kind of like a benchmark band. If you just want to, you know, start listening to the PV. Right here, you got. Right there, center label, and then this actually is another one-sided record with I believe this is screen print B-side. These B-sides I can't catch the light, but it's pretty much the center label on the whole back. That's all right. That should be good. But yeah, I mean, if you dig it, this is pretty much after Infest broke up. This band came out, recorded songs. Short-lived. I don't even know if I have. Recorded in 89, 1990. This copy itself came out in 2017. I was on the hunt. I wasn't going to go nuts for one because I knew I could find it. It's a split release between Deep Six and Draw Blank Records. But again, that's Neanderthal, A History of Violence. The discography, 8 songs. That's all you need. Also cheaper than hunting down original presses and splits and stuff. So definitely check it out. Neanderthal. Next, speaking of cornerstone bands, especially, you know, for me or anyone really that lives in New England or the East, the Northeast, we have the final Elk Hold LP, Living is Killing Me. This just came out on Sorry State, I believe at the very beginning of the summer. I could be wrong. It hasn't been out that long. As you guys know, Mark, the original singer of Elk Hold, passed away, I believe. I wrote down the year so I can remember. And 2009, fuck, that was 10 years ago, man. This is Black Vinyl with center labels. He passed away in 2009. This band was around for roughly 20 years, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit less than that. They started to write this record here, I believe probably in the mid-2000s. Mark actually did the guitar riffs on this, and I believe John, the drummer, recorded the drum parts in the mid-2005. Rhythm guitar and drum tracks recorded in 2005. Vocals, bass, and guitar leads between 2013 and 2017. So this record's been quite a few years in the making. So to take over vocal duties for this last LP, the original singer who was on the first release came back, Kevin Mertens, Is it Mertens? I want to say your name right. Yep. Kevin Mertens came back and sang these songs. Art on the B side of the insert there. B side, back. Kevin Mertens came back and sang the songs. I believe, I could be mistaken, I'm pretty confident this is the last. Basically, there's nothing left in the tank except if there's live recordings for Out Cold. So, this is the last original Out Cold ever. If you never heard this band, I cannot recommend this band enough. Their whole catalog is great. It's very stripped down, simplistic hardcore in a good way. They didn't really reinvent the wheel throughout their existence, but the one thing they did is just destroy throughout their existence. Funny story about them. For the beginning of when I first started getting into hardcore, they existed in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were a band, but they would be on flyers all the time, but they would never play. They would not show up or cancel at the last minute. And then around, I want to say early 2000s, Mikey, who plays bass on this, who sang for a band called The Prowl, played bass in a band called Last in Line, joined, and the guitar player from Last in Line joined. And for the last 5 years or so of this band's existence, they were very prolific in playing live. I saw them more times in the last 5 years than the previous 5 before he passed away. Because I want to say, yeah, around 2009, I was probably 10, 12 years into being a weirdo, a music weirdo at least. So I saw them a bunch, and it was great. The first time I ever saw them was with the Vibrators at the Middle East downstairs on a weeknight when no one was there, and they came out and they just blasted through the set. Boom, 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 boom. No talking between songs. She said thank you at the end. He put the mic down, walked off the stage, and I was just like... So that's Out Cold. I cannot recommend this band enough. I cannot recommend it enough, especially for anyone who just is starting to get into hardcore, who wants a very accessible catalog, tons and tons of releases. You can find this stuff everywhere. Check this band out. But this is Out Cold, Living is Killing Me. The last one, the last thing you're ever going to hear from them, unless stuff gets dug up, which I doubt it's going to. And rest in peace, Mark. Hardcore misses you, man. But Out Cold. I'm going to flip the record now. Get up there. Rocking a Madball shirt. What's up, New York Hardcore? Had today off, so I'm doing a video early today. Went out early, got a burrito, living the dream. Saw Drop Dead, Stigmatism, Game, and Boiling Point last night in Rhode Island. A show that fucking ruled. Check out all those bands, especially Game. Game is from the UK. The singer of Game runs Quality Control Hardcore, which I've talked about here a million times. But check out those bands. Let's get back to the video here. Next we have... I'll take it out all this so you guys can see it. Next we have Uniform Choice, Screaming for Change. This is the repress that came out on Southern Lord. What year? 2016. Oh, I thought it was like last year. What you get here is you get classic 80s straight edge hardcore from Orange County. One of my favorite original-esque hardcore bands for me. I heard this band very early on in my discovery of punk and hardcore. Anthemic melodic vocals, not melodic, but it's not an incoherent scream, which I know some people dig. Songs about classic stuff, straight edge, betraying straight edge, thinking about being straight edge. But rising above, rising above any sort of obstacle in your way. But got a lyric sheet here. Got a little written thing here by Casey Jones about seeing how important Uniform Choice was in his life. This is what comes with this thing here. Go far away from me here. Got a classic shirt. Now that's the cover of the demo, which has been pressed. It's like one label did it as 2 7-inches a long time ago, and the LP just came out last year. I showed it on the channel, I'm sure. And then it's just kind of got a different. I think is this the photo that? This is the photo that the painting on the famous drawing that the cover is based off of. Yeah, pretty close. But so the cool thing about, so this is remastered. In 1986 this originally came out. But the cool thing about this is, so I don't want to give it all away, but on the inside of the insert here, you just kind of got a little photo book. Skip to a page here. You just got a photo book with that kind of like, people's personal photos. Some I've seen before, some I haven't. of, you know, Uniform Choice playing live over the years. One thing that's really crazy is these guys, I wasn't, you know, I was 4 when this record came out, and I was probably 6, 7, 8 when they broke up, so I never saw Uniform Choice. If you can just guess that, I never saw them. But one thing that's wild about these photos that I think is real cool, it's something that you don't see all the time, you know, in 2019 hardcore, is these dudes love rocking their own shirts. And they love rocking, it appears their crew, who must have been like, you know, that followed around at to shows or whatever, also seem to love wearing Uniform Choice shirts. Because in the photo thing here, just knock on, there you go. And the photo book in the center is just dudes all hanging out wearing Uniform Choice shirts, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. Even on the cover, the dude's singing along right now is wearing a Uniform Choice shirt. But it's just, I think it's just a cool thing. Again, classic hardcore, classic California hardcore. A little bit on the melodic tip. If you love Gorilla Biscuits, I mean, if you like Gorilla Biscuits and don't like Uniform Choice, you're a heavily confused person. But anyways, Uniform Choice, Scream for Change. This is the black vinyl 8,000 sleeve, me trying to cram it into a one sleeve repress of this. Again, I'm still kind of mind blown. 2016, I definitely thought it was more recent than that. So I remember seeing this and being like, oh man, I want that. But I own an original press on Wishing Well. I think I own 2 original presses on Wishing Well, and I own a bootleg. And I was like, do I need to own 4 copies of this? And then when I saw this a couple weeks ago, I decided I did, so I bought it. It was cheap. I bought this down at Armageddon in Providence before a seed show, nonetheless. But once I'm done like killing time talking gibberish while I put this back together, we can move on to the next record. But that's Uniform Choice, Screaming for Change. Check it out. All right. Next is we have a new release. You guys know I love backing new hardcore there, Claus. Wildside. Who the hell is Wildside? This came out on Triple B Records a few months ago. Definitely 2019. I love that they actually rented a billboard for the cover of this. That's so fucking cool. And it's just part of the hype and part of the, you know, the cover, the art on the cover. I think it's just cool. But this is a Canadian band, Canadian hardcore band, who I would say if you like Iron Boots, like another band I'm about to mention. If you dig Warzone, if you got into Iron Boots when they were around, Wildside's just the progression of it. Definitely that kind of vocal delivery. There's a similar to Nervous Impulse. It's got not just a straightforward scream vocal delivery. I know some people dig it, some people won't. You should. It's great. I listened to this record 2 or 3 times in a row. I dug it the first time, but it really started to grow on me the more I listened. And I was actually talking about it with some people, and we all like we're talking about how like the more we listen to it, the more awesome we think it is. So the thing about these guys is they put out a 7-inch, in 2014, and then they put out a promo maybe in 2016. Or maybe also 2014, and then they there was no releases. They played a bunch of shows here and there. They just played here last December at America's Hardcore Fest, but there's no like physical release. So they have a promo tape, a demo, and then this is 2019. So I don't know if life got in the way, other bands, but this is definitely worth something to check out. If you want to be on that new hardcore tip, we want something that reminds you of old New York hardcore, Warzone specifically, especially. You need to check this out. And then live, this band kills. But that's Wildside. Who the hell is Wildside? Probably maybe my favorite art of 2019, just because, I don't know. This is legit a fucking, you know, a billboard. This isn't Photoshop. They rented a billboard somewhere. I'm going to guess by the discount souvenir shops and the smoke shop. Huge clearance sale, empty for lease. This might not be like the greatest in neighborhoods, so maybe they got it for the cheap. There's a Denny's around the corner. I'm surprised they haven't got popped for that. Anyways, Wildside. Who the hell is Wildside? Question you're probably asking after I talk about that band. Next, we have One Last Wish, 1986. This is a Discord release. This band was a band that was around for 4 months. And guess what year? 1986. Between Rites of Spring and Fugazi. It's 3 members of Rites of Spring and a member from Embrace, and I believe it might have been Faith or Void. One of those he was in. Got together for 4 months, recorded, I believe it's 10 songs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, it's 12. Recorded 12 songs and then broke up. And then, so this recording was sat on until 1999 when this was pressed onto a CD. And then in 2008 or 2009, this was pressed onto an LP. And I believe this might be from that era. Vinyl remastered from original source tapes. It might be. I just never grabbed it. I just saw this another Armageddon in Providence purchase like a month or so ago. And then, as you might know, the 3 guys from Rites of Spring, 1 dude from Embrace. And then this band broke up, and then 2 guys from this band went on to form or be part of Fugazi, which is, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that band. I don't know. They put out a couple of records. I don't know, toured a little bit, maybe played a handful of Fugazi only played like a handful of shows. Anyways, yeah, this One Last Wish. I dig this record. If you dig Fugazi, if you dug Rites of Spring, this is right in that ilk. It's right in that old. It's right in that alley. I want to give credit to, I don't know if he watches my videos, Eric Yu, who actually told me about this band in the early 2000s and told me to pick up the CD when he worked at Regen, and I did, and I bore a hole through it in my car, if I remember correctly. But this is Guy, Edward, Janney, Brendan Canty, and Michael Hampton. And I believe who went on to be in Fugazi. Guy, definitely. And Brendan. Brendan and Guy went on to be in Fugazi. And they came from Rites of Spring. But, the Revolution Summer type stuff. The post-hardcore, maybe, if you want to call it that. I hate throwing that phrase around. It seems to have taken on a life of its own. But if you dig Rites of Spring, if you dig Embrace, if you dig Fugazi, One Last Wish is definitely in that realm. The song, I think it's 3 Unkind Silences is one of my favorite songs on here. The first song on the B-side. And Discord put this out, and as you know with Discord, when they press records, there's a million of them. So this isn't a hard thing to find. The CD, I think, was a little bit of a pain in the ass back in 9. I probably bought it in 01 or 02, but it came out in 99 to find. But this, you can probably pick up. It was just me being lazy over the years, and I finally grabbed it. 14 bucks, no big deal. It'll get spun a lot. But One Last Wish, 1986. Check it out. Get into it, if you will. Next, kind of in the post-hardcore weird thing, I got Ty Segall here. Just based on Emotional Mugger. Ty Segall, Emotional Mugger here. This record came out in 2016 on Drag City. I went to a bachelor party on Saturday for my friend Jay Epidemic. Again, what's up? Go check his profile. He doesn't make any posts. He just lurks everyone and buys records. We were talking about Ty Segall at his bachelor party because that's what music nerds do instead of, they go to bars and talk about records. I swear to God, I'm not a loser. And we were saying it's like weird punk psych garage. Kind of like a mishmash of all that kind of stuff, but in a good way. I know Vinyl in the Van is a big fan of Ty Segall. Actually, he's the one, I bought this a few months ago. When was this? Best thing about Newbury Comics. Yeah, 9/13/17, this came in stock. I probably bought this over the winter. So it was 2019. So this sat around for almost 2 years at Newbury Comics. You can see it's marked down to $15.99. I'm pretty sure I even got it for cheaper than that. But that's cool. It's at the top. It's on the top. The DL code. Really thick sleeve on this too, which I dig. Look at that. Some nudity there, so I'm sure I'll get flagged. There you go. But yeah, this is definitely psych garage punk, or punk garage psych, gunk psych, whatever. It's great stuff. I really dug this record. A lot of people, again, I don't know a lot about Ty Segall. I'm kind of just diving into him. Said that this, I know someone told me this is his best. Someone told me his new one is the best. If you guys know anything about this, please comment below. Tell me what to go check out. It's similar to Death. Don't get mad at me if I say something wrong, like a lot of people did when I talked about Death a couple of episodes ago. But this is Ty Segall, Emotional Mugger. Again, I also believe this is a readily available record. So, I don't know if there's special editions or anything, but This was sitting in a bin for almost 2 years because I Newbury Comics on these price tags. Originally $21.99, got a $15.99 sticker, and I guarantee you I didn't pay this because I'm a cheapskate when it comes. It was probably 12 bucks. I want to say it was marked down. They were doing a sale, or there was another sticker on it or something of that nature for cheaper. But Newbury Comics, for those Northeast people who don't, they're a legit brick and mortar store, not just an online retailer. They have dates on here when stuff comes right there. So 9/13/17, this was put into stock. But that's Ty Segall, Emotional Mugger. Get into it if you dig that garage sound. Again, another band I can't specifically put a genre on. Here's Drug Church's Cheer. I have this on CD too, and the best thing about the CD is this is the art. It's a CD jewel case. This is the art on the CD. There's no like booklet, so it's a clear cover with this sticker on it that says Cheer. And that's it. I think that's really cool. But these guys are out of Albany, New York. Weed Pin is a song that's kind of got a lot of play, and I think in streaming services and stuff. But I really like the Unlicensed Guidance Counselor, to be honest, one of my favorites. Also, Unlicensed Hall Monitor is also a good jam. Grubby, the first song. It's just a great record. I really dig. I can't put a... let me pull this out. This is on like a weird translucent... I think it was called Algae Blue-Green. But you got the Drug Church. Just sent, you know, custom label there. The B-side's just the same thing. This, again, was another Newbury Comics pickup. I didn't pre-order it. I know a lot of people did. I got lazy with it. But, sure. Let me actually talk about the record and not myself here. You got 10 songs on here. Punk hardcore, garage, noise. Some people say noise, pop, rock, garage. It's definitely an interesting. I can't genrealize it. It would just be wrong for me to throw a genre on it. But I guarantee someone will like something on this if you're into like underground music in general. Especially, I think if you're into Ty Segall, maybe in One Last Wish era, you'll dig this. But then if you're also into hardcore, like the heavier stuff, there's some things on here that kind of hark to that. But it's a melodic record. But I bought it out of the blue. I listened to the singer Patrick's on a podcast called Axe to Grind that I love. He was in this band. I heard the name. I never really listened to him until I remember this was coming out there. He was pushing it on the podcast, so I decided to check it out, and I was like, I was into it. And again, this isn't an insult because I don't know if the people in the band enjoy these bands, but I would say, Hot Water Music mixed with Ty Segall with Revolutionary Summer with a pinch of hardcore. That's the best way I can describe it. But this is great shit. Definitely check it out. This came out on Pure Noise Records. I believe it's readily in print. They tour regularly, so go see them. It's a great time. But that's Cheer, Drug Church. Anything on here? It's on a podcast. He's also in another band called the Self-Defense Family that just played. Patrick, the singer, is. But that's not this. This is Drug Church Cheer. So cool. I think I can write jingles. Next, I have these two double LPs that are compilations. The first one here was just a random buy. This is the Warner Brothers I Want to Be Sedated from the Underground. This is a double LP that they put out. If you guys don't know, Warner Brothers is celebrating 60 years last year. It's 2019, so it's 2018 is 60 years. So they put out different compilations of stuff over the 60 years. So this is what they consider their punk new wave compilation they put out. So a double LP, and this is cool because it's got the name of it'll have the name of the band, the song, what record it came from, and it's got the year and the year. But these are all Warner Brothers releases. So, and then it's got a little written thing like right here for the Ramones. Seymour Steen and Richard Gottenhair founded Sire Records in 1966. By the mid-70s, the label was a successful independent record company. Sire inked a distribution deal with Warner Brothers in 1977 and released a cadre of artists who spearheaded the burgeoning punk and new wave scene. These include albums from Talking Heads, The Undertones, Dead Boys, and Ramones. It's hard to calculate the importance of the Ramones' contribution to music. They were the first punk band with their 1976 debut album spawned another new wave of garage bands that had learned 4 basic guitar chords and thrummed them into submission. Road to Ruin was the Ramones' 4th album and featured I Want to Be Sedated, easily one of the best known and loved singles. So there's a little rundown of who the bands are and their importance to how they feel they're important to the general music scene at the time. This is something I'll throw on if I have people over. There's actually some really good songs on here. I'm just going to read the track listing on the back. I'm running low on time here. So, Ramones, I Want to Be Sedated. Dead Boys, Sonic Reducer. Somebody's going to get their head kicked in by the Rezillos. Blank Generation by Richard Hell and the Voidoids. Shake Some Action by Flamin' Groovies. Blister in the Sun, Violent Femmes. You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory by Johnny Thunders. Alex Chilton by the Replacements. Jane Says by Jane's Addiction. Jesus Built My Hot Rod by Ministry. Talk of the Town by the Pretenders. Rome, the B-52s. Veronica, Elvis Costello. I'll Always Be in Love, Wilco. Do You Realize, the Flaming Lips. Love Vigilantes by New Order. Life During Wartime by the Talking Heads. Don't Want to Know If You're Lonely by Husker Du. April Skies, The Jesus and Mary Chain, and The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen. So it's a weird mix. It's black vinyl, so there's nothing too special. One thing they did, I'm not going to pull it back apart, is the labels of the old ones with the palm trees instead of the beach. But that's Warner Brothers. I Want to Be Sedated from the underground, their punk, new wave, underground, alternative, double LP collection. Finally, some people might not love this, some people might hate it. The Howard Stern Private Parts soundtrack. This was a record store day release. It's a double LP on blue vinyl. I'm not going to pull it up. Actually, no, fuck it. I'll pull it up. I don't even think there's anything else cool in here. I got 2 minutes left, so. So you just got the insert, which lists the bands. Shots from the, from the movie. Blue vinyl. Same label on everything. But it's like a translucent blue. I was a huge Howard Stern fan when he was on free radio. I've never paid to listen to him. After that, I kind of fell off. But, you got songs on here, and then you got sound bites from the movie. Some of them now are cringy as fuck to listen to. But at the time, I thought they were great in 1997. But you get everything from, Rob Zombie on here, Green Day, The Ramones, Deep Purple. The Ben Stern Mega Mix is my favorite thing ever. Clips of his dad. Ted Nugent. Van Halen. AC/DC. You got Howard Stern and the Dust Brothers, Marilyn Manson, Porno for Pyros, Ozzy Osbourne with Typo Negative. It's Ice-T with Flea, Dave Navarro, and Chad Smith, but he's like, or no, LL Cool J, I believe, but he's blocked out for whatever reason. But whatever, it's what it is. I'll never listen to it ever again. Record store day, and suck it. I got it for cheap. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Go to BostonHassle.com. I'm going to post a thing below. You supports me. And go to hardcore shows. And go to the Dorchester Art Project. And if you don't live in Massachusetts, go to a show in your area. Make a friend. Buy a record. Comment below. Subscribe. Tell me I suck. Have a good one. My birthday's Saturday. Send me gifts.